And we are all looking forward to seeing Senator Mitchell walking behind him as we march up Fifth Avenue. And tell us a little bit about how you started in the parade. You mentioned growing up in Manhattan and marching when you were in school. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I attended Blessed Sacrament High School in Manhattan, and our school marched every year in the St. Patrick's Day Parade. So I think I've been marching in the parade for maybe 60 years.
Well, that's amazing. What was it like back then? It must have been a little bit different back when you first started marching and you were marching with your school group.
It was very different because there were not the numbers marching that they have today. And the parade might have lasted back in the 1950s. The parade might have lasted 2.5 to 3 hours. And it was just then, as now, a joy to march up Fifth Avenue.
Well, it certainly has grown, and you have some remarkable history in your family in Ireland, that your father and your grandfather and others in your family were involved with the Easter Uprising in 1916 and helping the cause of Irish democracy. And tell us a little bit about your family history.
My father was Samuel Patrick O'Reilly, and he was very active in the rebellion in 1916, as his father, John Kevin O'Reilly, who, interestingly, I think, was the author of the song "Wrap the Green Flags Round Me, Boy." My grandfather, John Kevin, was a very musical man. And he and four of his 5 sons were in the GPO Easter 1916. The youngest, Donald, at age 10, came and joined them at the end. So the O'Reillys have quite a claim on freedom for Ireland.
Absolutely. You know, so many young people who may not understand the history both here and perhaps even in Ireland. Why is it so important what was done, the sacrifice made in 1916 and after for Ireland?
Well, Ireland was under the cruel rule of England, or the English like to say the British Empire, for 800 years. And the people lived, many of the people, I should say, lived in terrible, in Dublin, lived in terrible living conditions. And they were so oppressed that they felt they had no future.
Is it good when you go back to Ireland or see scenes there to see how far the country has progressed in the 100 years?
It is wonderful, absolutely wonderful to see the progress of the people there in Ireland, particularly the poor people who had lived in terrible conditions. Now they seem to be thriving.
Well, it's so good to see, and we meet so many people doing well in Ireland. And I just want to ask you, one other organization that I know you've been a leader on, past president, was the Dublin Society. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're a small county organization, and we're part of the United Irish Counties. And it's, we are there to help all Dublin people and all Irish people that need our aid.
Well, that's great. Now you're going to be an aide at large on March 17th to Senator George Mitchell, our Grand Marshal. Just say, what is that going to be like for you to march right with Senator Mitchell up Fifth Avenue?
It will be an absolute thrill to march behind Senator George Mitchell. He has done so much for the Irish people, and I think he was such a wonderful choice for the St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee.
Well, Geraldine O'Reilly Johnson, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll look forward to marching and right behind you on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, ma'am. This is Ken Kraetzer for the New York St. Patrick's Day Parade.